Okay, let's jump right in. We've got a major news brief for you today on something that sits right at the intersection of AI and youth well-being. A really significant new grant has just been announced, and we're going to break down everything you need to know, what it is, who can apply, and why it's such a big deal. So the big headline number is this: €500,000. That's a huge new fund dedicated to supporting organizations all across Europe, the Middle East, and Africa, what's known as the EMEA region. This is a clear signal that we're not talking about a small side project, but a really substantial investment with a very specific and very urgent purpose. So what is that purpose? Well, the core mission is actually pretty simple, but it's incredibly powerful. It's all about helping young people truly benefit from AI. This program is laser-focused on improving youth safety and their well-being as artificial intelligence becomes more and more a part of their everyday lives. And that, of course, brings up a really important question. Why now? What's the big rush? Let's dig into the context here and the sense of urgency that's really driving this whole initiative. This quote right here just gets straight to the heart of it. AI isn't some far-off future technology anymore. For young people, it's already woven into the fabric of how they learn, how they create, and how they talk to each other. This grant is all about acknowledging that reality and tackling the urgent need to build in safeguards to make sure AI is a positive force. So how exactly are they planning to do that? Well, it breaks down into 4 key goals. And this isn't just about spotting problems. It's about, first, really understanding the actual benefits of AI. Second, it's about rigorously testing and improving safety features. And third, and this is so important, it's about getting youth groups, researchers, and AI developers all talking to each other, creating this powerful feedback loop to really amplify the impact of all this critical work. Okay, now for the practical stuff. If you're part of an organization working in this space, you're gonna want to pay close attention. We're about to cover who is eligible for this money and exactly what kinds of projects they're looking for. Let's top money. The awards are pretty flexible, typically falling somewhere between 25,000 and 100,000 euros. But, and this is a big deal, look at that third bar. They're also open to larger, multi-year awards for more ambitious programs. That really signals a commitment to supporting not just quick projects, but long-term foundational initiatives too. The grant is looking for 2 main types of applicants, which really shows the 2-pronged approach they're taking. On one hand, for NGOs, the focus is on practical, on-the-ground work. Projects on youth protection, boosting AI literacy for families, and creating real-world tools. Then on the other hand, for research organizations, it's all about building a solid evidence base, studying AI's impact, and figuring out if the safeguards we have now actually work. So what are the absolute must-haves if you want to apply? The requirements are super clear. You've got to be an established organization, legally registered in the EMEA region. Your work has to be centered on youth safety or AI's impact on young people. And critically, you need to prove you can deliver the project ethically and that you're committed to sharing what you learn. It's all about building a shared pool of knowledge that everyone can use. When you do apply, this is basically your cheat sheet for what the selection committee cares about. Being based in the EMEA region is a mandatory, non-negotiable. But after that, those high weightings tell the real story. They're going to be looking really closely at how well your project aligns with the grant's goals, its potential for real impact, how solid your methods are, and whether you actually have the capacity to pull it off. All right, if you're thinking this grant sounds like a perfect fit for your organization, then this next section is basically your playbook. Let's walk through the entire application process step by step. Go ahead and circle these dates on your calendar right now. The application window is pretty short. It opens up on January 28th, 2026, and it closes just 1 month later on February 27th. The whole idea is to get these projects up and running fast, with the work kicking off in the middle of 2026. So if you're interested, the time to start preparing is now. So what happens after you hit submit? Well, your application goes on a little journey. It starts with a basic screening to make sure you're eligible and everything's there. Then, a council does a deep dive into the technical, ethical, and legal details. After final approvals, the grants are officially awarded, and the projects get the green light. So, what do you need to pull together? Here's the checklist. You'll need a project title, a detailed proposal, but keep it tight, there's a 500-word limit, a full budget, your team CVs, and a really crucial ethics and data handling plan. If you're partnering with anyone, letters of support are a great idea too. It's all submitted through an online portal. Okay, let's zoom out for a second and look at the big picture. What's the long-term vision here? What's the real end game for this whole initiative? The ultimate goal here is not just academic. This program is designed from the ground up to create practical, actionable resources. We're talking about things like easy-to-read reports, toolkits that educators and NGOs can actually use, and policy briefs for decision makers. The whole focus is on producing stuff that will be valuable long after these individual projects are done. This quote just perfectly nails the mission statement of the whole thing. It's about moving the conversation about AI safety from the theoretical and putting it into the practical. It's about funding work that will help all of us understand what safe and responsible AI actually looks like in the real world, where young people are using it every single day. And this brings us to the final and most important question. This grant is a catalyst, right? It's a spark for research and action. But the challenge it's trying to solve is one we all share. How do we build a future where the next generation doesn't just use AI, but actually thrives with it? This €500,000 investment is a huge step toward finding that answer.